Hi everyone, welcome on board. I met a really amazing personality called Seema ma'am. She is the ex NMIMS faculty और right now she is also a deputy director of SDA Bocconi जिनका एक IMB प्रोग्राम है. ये मैम she spent nearly 25 years on the corporate और उन्होंने मुझे बताया 5 चीज़ें जो एक पैनलिस्ट देखता है और आज मैम कम्युनिकेशन टीम कम्युनिकेशन मैनेजमेंट भी पढ़ा रहे हैं to more than 40 plus corporates. So let's deep dive into the video and enjoy your video and do it in the like button if you guys learned something new from the video. Thank you so much. Let's enjoy the video.
What's an interview, Sumit? An interview is, it's a chance, it's an opportunity for me to get to know the candidate better.
Yeah.
So I'm all for candor. Yes, you just don't have to shoot your mouth off, but I'm all for openness. I think if you're vulnerable, it's nice. To me, that's human. I mean, I as a behavioral person, I enjoy that. Let's face it. Honestly, Sumit, B school is a teddy bear's picnic compared to what you will face in the corporate world. Seriously. So you have to equip yourself with those things to make sure that you survive.
Hi, ma'am. Welcome on board.
Hi.
It's honor to have you on board.
Thank you, Sumit.
This is so amazing, ma'am. They're all saying welcome to you in the chat as well. Let's begin, ma'am. Please tell us more about you. 25 years in the industry, and you are teaching the mechanics of language to corporates, big corporates. Which all corporates you've been working with, and tell us more about you.
Okay, I'm an academician and I also do corporate training. And I've been doing corporate training with perhaps more than 40 companies. The list is too long for me to get into details. And I usually do workshops on communication skills, executive presence mainly, because that is something that I realize is a huge gap, I think, in the Indian workforce. And there's a survey by Gartner which says that, when it comes to leadership skills, when it comes to leadership qualities, executive presence ranks at number 2. So that is something the corporates are really focusing on these days. And I have been doing a lot of training programs in executive presence and leadership presence, I think, over the past almost 7 or 8 years.
Wow, that's so amazing, ma'am. And you've also been to Harvard Business School for Executive Management. It was in Boston.
Yes, it was the Harvard Business School, which was, I think, way back. I mean, it was in 2008. I
Lovely.
went there on a fellowship. Yes, the
This
Andrew
is so
Tao
amazing.
Foundation
I was
fellowship,
also
yes.
amazing. I was also lucky to spend some time. I went in 2016. I tell this to the world, like you should go to Harvard Business School once before you die. It was such a mecca of education.
Yes.
Great, ma'am.
It
Let's
is.
let's begin. By the way, ma'am is the current deputy director at SDA Bocconi, and with her experience, I'm going to ask her some questions which is going to be helping you get the good placements and be a better citizen. Give us a hack now. You have been taking interviews. You've been meeting like top IIM graduates, Narsi Monji graduate, SD Bocconi graduate, Microsoft guys, Nika guys. I know your entire profile. Tell me like 5 things you want to see in my students when you are sitting on that side of the chair at maybe SD Bocconi or wherever, or when you are taking interviews for corporate or when you're meeting people. Like, ye qualities when my students are going to be personifying there. What are those? Maybe 3 or 5, ma'am. Up to you.
Confidence.
Okay.
That's the first thing that I look for. Honestly, how confident it is, that the student is, the candidate is. Second one, I would look for credibility, which means that what I see on the CV, because the CV can be doctored, the CV can be amplified, aggrandized. When I interview the candidate, I want to see whether they walk the talk. Okay. So the first is confidence. The second is credibility. The third, it's a little hard, but a test of nerves. See, very often when I ask a particular question, Sumit, I'm not really expecting an answer as much as I am expecting the person to kind of, withstand that scrutiny, withstand the grilling, and see how they can come up with, something smart at that particular time, which I think is really a test of nerves. And I know that, presence of mind is something that not everybody is blessed with, but they can work on that, really.
Great.
So,
Ma'am,
confidence.
are you insinuating that you're going to be taking a stress interview?
No. It's not a stress interview. It's like, I give you an example. I mean,
Yeah.
I interview some students sometimes, and they all come with pattern rehearsed answers, which I think is fair because considering the amount of, coaching institutes that they've been to, so it's only fair that some of the answers appear rehearsed. And then I throw in a googly, I say there's a student called Mihir who I'm interviewing, and I say, okay, so Mihir, what are you afraid of? And then there is a kind of, they just get rattled completely.
Yeah.
So it's not really a stress interview, Sumit, as much as kind of being there in the moment and having a wits about you.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
important.
Right. Ma'am,
And
it
body language,
is.
that's the fourth one that I look for. Like I said, of course, confidence is always projected through body language, good eye contact. Yeah. But
Yeah. Great.
generally a presence, because I just spoke about executive presence, you see. So I look for all of that. Yeah.
Super.
And what we as a school at Bocconi, what we look for diversity, you see. I know like a majority of the students who apply to business schools are generally largely engineers, but we look for people from the commerce background. We look for people from humanities. We have doctors in our school. We have had architects. We've had dentists. And I look for that because I look for the diversity of experiences that they bring in. Because so much of, I think, MBA learning is peer learning, Sumit. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's not just about that you learn from the faculty. You learn so much from one another.
Yeah.
And the value of the experiences that people bring in into the classroom, particularly when you're discussing a case, I think that becomes amazing. So we in Bocconi, we stress on that.
Right, right, ma'am.
Diversity is
It
very
reminds me of
valuable.
my. It reminds me of my Oxford interview. So I was giving my Oxford interview, and there was a lady from the admissions team who came forward, and she said, "Hey, you're a little bit early for the session, so do you want a cup of coffee?" So I had a cup of coffee with her, and we were chit chatting, and that was 30 minutes past, and then I opened my heart out. I was like, not at all nervous, and. But then she took me in the interview room, and she said, "I'm the only one from Oxford, and I'm going to be taking the interview." And
Okay.
yeah, and before that I spilled all the beans because it was just a casual talk. So so what's your take on that? Are the interviews best taken when it's light, casual, or you think they are going to get rough patches, or it depends upon the faculty? What's your answer on that?
I think what's an interview, Sumit? An interview is, it's a chance, it's an opportunity for me to get to know the candidate better.
Yeah.
So I'm all for candor. Yes, you just don't have to shoot your mouth off, but I'm all for openness. I think it's, if you're vulnerable, it's nice. To me, that's human. I mean, I as a behavioral person, I enjoy that. So I don't want a mask or a facade. And sometimes, like I said, the stress part is just to know how the person would react in a difficult situation. Because let's face it, honestly, Sumit, B school is a teddy bear's picnic compared to what you will face in the corporate world. Seriously. So you have to equip yourself with those things to make sure that you survive in the corporate jungle out there. So if I do ask a few tough questions, or if the panelist does ask a few tough questions, I think it's fair. I mean,
Fair.
it's just in line with what will be in store for you a couple of years down the line. I tell my students that. I said, this is really a walk in the park, B school,
Yeah.
compared to what you will face outside. So we have to prepare you, right, for
Yeah.
the world outside. So we have, academic rigor, and we put you through a very grueling session in Bocconi, at least, just to prepare you for the world outside, which is what it is, right?
Superb, superb. Ma'am, one last tip which I want to hear from you is I'm a big fan of people who've done something on the leadership side, whether they're school head boys, head girls, and I asked them
Yes.
also yesterday. Let's just do a quick check on the profile, boys and girls. How many school head boys, head girls, or something in national level sports? Just type in head boy, head girl, or if you've done something NGO, but at the national level or district level, just type in. Ma'am, head boy, cultural head, head girl. If you can see the chat, okay, they're good students. How NSS committee player, national player. Okay, this is lovely. This is, ma'am. How is this
Yeah.
profile? Are they fit for a top B school?
Oh yes, of course, because I mean, when you've held a leadership position, it shows that that you are capable of taking charge, right? And one thing about leadership, I think, when you talk of leadership positions, I think trust is a very important thing.
Yeah.
See, for a leader, I mean, the way I look at it is that if you're a leader, people trust you, and you should enjoy the kind of the trust that people repose in you, and you should live up to that. So for me, that's important. So if you
Super.
say that somebody is a leader, I mean, I say, wow, why not?
Super.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, Harvard talks of leadership skills all the time, and that's what we train our students to be leaders, to take their place in the corporate world as leaders, and
Excellent.
to walk the talk, certain amount of integrity, old-fashioned things perhaps, Sumit, but I think they're just so valid,
Super.
particularly in the times that we live today. Yes, for sure.
That's so amazing. So, boys and girls, ma'am, this is the different perspective what even I learned today, that leadership is all about trust. Like people trust on you. when you're going to be representing the brand IIM or an SDA or SPJain
Yes.
Bombay, my school, or Harvard Business School for that matter. So you are going to be taking this flag strong, and people trust you. What you say? That's a different perspective altogether. Ma'am, one last question to you in interest of time. Sorry, I've taken a lot of your time today, but one quick question, ma'am. They're all stressed right now about their NMATs and CATs of the world. मैं इनको बोलता रहता हूँ थोड़ा chill कर लो यार life में, don't worry about it, things will fall in
Yeah,
place.
I just saw a question which said that I haven't been a head boy or a head girl.
Yeah.
So don't I count for something? Of course you do, for sure. Everybody counts for something. I mean, let me assure you. But this was just in response to Sumit's question. Yes, and then you can build trust. I mean, you can become a leader. So what if you haven't led anything so far? If you haven't been head boy or school captain, or you haven't captained the football team, okay? And there are different leadership styles, so you just don't have to be out there. You can just be someone who's incredibly confident and credible in your own way, and
Yeah.
you can people can come to trust you.
Super, super.
So it's not this B school is only for the head boys and the head girls and all the captains of the world. No, not at all.
Great.
With-
I'm just saying, like I keep telling them, you should be the one who raises the hand. ये काम कौन करेगा? And मैं करूँगा, मैं करूँगा. What's your take on that?
Proactive,
ma'am?
enthusiasm. I mean, even when you go for an interview, you see, I like to see somebody who's enthusiastic. And if you've done the complete research on my company, if as a recruiter, I know that you're keen to join me. You see, it's nice. Proactiveness, enthusiasm, interest, involvement. I mean, they suggest all of these things, you see.
Wow.
So for sure, definitely. I mean, I don't want somebody sitting in class like a dead duck and not answering anything at all.
Yeah.
You ask questions, and there is nothing like a stupid question. So
Yeah.
you say you don't ask the brightest of questions. That's fine. At least you're involved. You're in the moment there.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what counts. I mean, I'm not always looking for right answers in a class, Sumit. I'm not. I'm just looking for someone who's responsive, who's involved, who's
Right.
interested, who's sincere. I think
This is
sometimes
so
that's
amazing.
enough.
That's enough.
That's more
That's
than
enough. Raise your hands and be in the
yeah.
classroom where you are, where people are going to be trusting you. That's the entire summary. And be yourself. And they are looking for diverse people as well. But ma'am, one thing rightly said, B school is a walk in the park, but corporate world is tough. This is so amazing. Boys and girls, say a
Yes.
big thank you to ma'am for spending time with us, and hope it was an amazing session, ma'am. They're all saying thank you to you. You can see in the chat as
Thank
well.
you, Sumit. Such a pleasure.
This is so amazing, ma'am. This is so amazing. Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
joining in, ma'am. And I'll get on the call with you soon. Hope you enjoyed the session
Sure.
as well. I'm not going to let you go, ma'am. I'm going to keep calling you back in case interviews clear करवाने ma'am हमें.
Thank you, Sumit. And thank you, all of you students.
Surely, ma'am. Surely. Take care,
Yes.
ma'am. Have a good
night.
night. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night, all
Thank
of
you.
you.
Goodbye. Take care.
Yes.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If yes, do it with the like button. मैंने खुद अपने नोट्स लिए हैं. जैसे कोई ऐसे स्पीकर आते हैं, मैं उनके साथ नोट्स लेता हूँ, वेबिनार करता हूँ और आपके साथ शेयर करता हूँ. नीचे कमेंट करके बताइए what is the one thing you liked in the video and I'll be more than happy to answer to you. And अगर तुम्हारे कुछ बेसिक्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन वीक है, ये अगर आप पढ़ना चाहते हो, मुझे अप्लाई करिए. और जो लोग SDA Bocconi कोई इंटरव्यू दे के आए, मुझे बताइए आपने इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस कैसे हुआ था, बाकी के साथ शेयर भी करिए. क्या आपका प्रोफाइल. We'll do the discussion in the group. Thank you so much for joining in. Do it with the like button. Take care. Bye bye.